Summertime in the Eifel, round 9 of DTM 2022. 13-degree temperatures and thick fog everywhere. The result, a near 4-hour delay to the start of proceedings. Visibility too low for the drivers to be able to continue safely. So qualifying was abandoned, all track activity was abandoned, and we had a long wait. But patience was rewarded. The race director, Scott Elkins, with a course tour, the fog lifting, and the race finally at 5:15 p.m. getting underway. Everybody starting in championship positions on the grid. So Mirko Bortolotti led the charge into turn 1. Sheldon van der Linde alongside. And there's a good start from René Rast in third place. Also with a very good start, the Ferrari of Felipe Fraga, a winner at the Nürburgring, who'd started in 6th place. Almost 4 together as they went through the first corner. Sheldon van der Linde trying to get up the inside in the red and yellow Schubert BMW, but Bortolotti held firm and kept the Lamborghini up front, and then Fraga whipped around the outside to snatch 2nd place. All sorts of battles further back as well. Another Nürburgring winner there, Thomas Preining, trying to come from 10th on the grid, and made a good start. And this was the view back at Felipe Fraga and how he made his way through the field. Here's the onboard view through the first couple of corners. Fraga already up to 4th, and then squeezing past René Rast, then around the outside at turn 2 of the driver second in the championship, Sheldon van der Linde, and he wasn't hanging around to try and get the lead of the race. Still lap 1, right on the tail of Mirko Bortolotti, the Ferrari with great traction on what was a slippery surface and coming through into the lead of the race. The job not yet done though, because he was on the outside line, but the Brazilian was very good on the brakes and snatched the lead of the race from 6th on the grid. Wasn't a great start in the end for René Rast, despite getting off the line well, and he found himself battling with old rival Nico Müller at the tail end of the top 10. Then the two Audis came together. There was contact on the way into turn 2, and that left damage and a puncture to the right rear corner of Nico Müller's Audi, who would eventually retire from the race. More action from René Rast as he went 3 abreast with Maximilian Gutz and Dennis Olsen. Dennis Olsen sent into a half spin and way out onto the grass, recovering but way down the order, and then eventually dropping into retirement. Rast was also delayed. Maximilian Gutz, who made a good start to the race, having had his best 2 results of the season at the Nürburgring with a pair of 6th place finishes, was on a march. Also on a march was Sheldon van der Linde. He made a good start to the race, but again, like René Rast, hadn't been able to capitalise on lap 1. Lucas Auer had got himself up to 2nd place from 5th on the grid, and the pair were now battling for 3rd in the opening laps of the race. Down the inside into turn 1 went the BMW. Lucas Auer had to give way, and Sheldon found himself back up into 3rd place. He then set about catching up the top 2. We had a great 3-way battle for the lead of the race on still slippery conditions, with a few spots of rain in the preceding hours of the race and tricky conditions. So Fraga had pitted, made his mandatory pit stop a lap before Bortolotti, and Rast came out as well at the same time. Rast on cold tyres though couldn't stop Fraga from coming through on the way into turn 1. It took about a lap for everybody to get the tyres up to temperature due to the cold conditions, and there's still damp patches on the circuit. Going side by side with Gutz, who'd got into the pits as well, with Sheldon van der Linde, and then Felipe Fraga, with far more heat in the tyres, pounced on Mirko Bortolotti to get the lead of the race back. Bortolotti trying desperately to hang on to his car during the opening sequence of corners on very cold, very new tyres. This is a replay of how Fraga simply drove around the outside of him. Dev Gore in the background had yet to make a stop. This effectively would be the battle for a podium position. René Rast still getting his tyres up to temperature on his first lap since rejoining, then having to concede the position, a net 3rd to Sheldon van der Linde on the way up to the chicane. Gutz and Van Toor just behind as well had gone well through the pit stop window, and then 3 with a great battle which came to tears in the end, because René Rast was clipped by Laurens Van Toor, who was trying to get at the inside of Maximilian Gutz but couldn't slow the Porsche down in time. On the way into turn 2, just clipped the back of René Rast's car, and the 3-time champion sent into a spin. He'd recover, but with damage to the car and positions lost. Then the battle for the lead was heating up again into the closing laps. Nose to tail then into the final corner. Bortolotti had to go up the inside of Fraga, clipped the right rear corner of the Ferrari, and both into a spin. Sheldon van der Linde going from 3rd to 1st. And the championship leader, Mirko Bortolotti, stranded on the inside. Felipe Fraga out as well, down the order, and then eventually retiring from the race. So from a potential second place, maybe first place, no points would be scored by Mirko Bortolotti for only the second time this season. Sheldon van der Linde, his nearest points rival, would move ahead of him should he get the race win. Great battle for sixth as well between Philipp Eng, Nick Cassidy and the sole remaining Ferrari, and guess who? Rennie Rast in the thick of the action again. He timed the move beautifully to get at the inside of the pair of them, but bravery from Philipp Eng sent the BMW back ahead, turning into a very good day for Schubert Motorsport, the team's championship leaders. There was damage then, as you can see, to the right rear corner of Rennie Rast's car. Nick Cassidy got through, and with a slow exit out of Advan Boga, he would also come under threat from Marco Wittmann, who'd made good progress after a bad start to the race in the Volkenhorst BMW. So this became the closing battle for third place between Ricardo Feller and, in fourth place, Maximilian Gotz. Kelvin van der Linde from 13th on the grid was second, and the race winner was Sheldon van der Linde.
Yes, mate! Yes! Guys! Oh, I just want another freaking DTM Race! Yes! Oh, yes, baby! 1, 2, and GoldenEye, let's go! Yes!
So history made at the Nürburgring. A South African 1-2 for the first time, and brothers finishing first and second nonetheless. Sheldon van der Linde winning, Kelvin van der Linde with a terrific drive, which was sitting down in 20th place at one point in the race, coming through to finish in second, his best result of the season, and a second podium of the year for the Imola race winner Ricardo Feller to round out what had been a good day for the Abt Sportsline team. So lots of talking points in the race, a change of championship lead as well, with Sheldon van der Linde moving to the top of the points with that race victory, his third of the season. Kelvin van der Linde in second place, Ricardo Feller rounding out the podium. Best result of the season for Maximilian Gotz in fourth place, Lucas Auer in fifth, and Philipp Eng, after that battling performance, rounding out the top six after a thrilling race one at the Nürburgring.